Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and continue with the 2-7.1 assignment. I made a video with 4 different drawings, and it was 20 minutes long, and none of it had any audio, so you can't hear any of my voice leading you through how to do the drawing. So I have fixed things, and hopefully this is better. Okay, so this is number 5, the steering pump adapter. Okay, this one is a little bit more difficult, so you will have to be paying attention. I did draw it, but then I didn't save it, so I can't show you what it looks like, so you guys are just going to have to go along with what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this smaller over here in the corner, and then I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this so that way we can see the dimensions. Okay, so this is in the metric system. Okay, you don't see it anywhere written. Oh, actually, no, you don't see it anywhere written on the part, but when you look at the dimensions, you can go ahead and safely assume that this is in the metric system. So let's go ahead and make a new part. We're going to be working in the metric system, so click on the metric folder and go to standard MMIPT. Okay, so once we have this open, we're going to go ahead and start a new sketch on the XY plane. Okay, so I'm just going to draw this large circle here for reference. I'm not going to have it here for any other reason other than reference. Okay, so this is just going to be our large circle. Let me scroll over here to the side, actually to right here, and this circle has a diameter of 95 millimeters. So let's go ahead and put that in. So this dimension, or this diameter, is going to be 95. Kind of gives us an idea of how big this thing is going to be. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put some points. So I'm going to click right here on point, and I'm just going to put points where the centers of these circles will be. So one here, one above center, one down here, one here, one about here, and then one kind of out there. Okay. So the reason why I'm putting in these center points first is because we want to make sure that these are kind of correctly located. Yes, I could go ahead and draw some lines and hopefully that they land in the right spot, but what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're landing in the right spot. Okay, so let's go ahead and dimension these. Okay, so my horizontal location for this first one is going to be 16.97. My horizontal location for this one out here is 5838. Okay, and then my vertical location for this one is 64.31, and then my vertical location for this guy is 7.9. Okay, so that's basically where we want those to be. Let's do it for this one here. This guy is going to be 49.15 below center, and 30.24 right of center. Okay, same thing. Let's keep on moving around on a clockwise manner. 2707, and this is going to be 48.16. So it's a millimeter shorter than this one. So 48.16. Oops. Okay. And then 1355 and 5375, and this last one is 5280 and 3682. Okay, so all of those are properly located. Now we can go ahead and put in some things, put in some lines. So these are going to be our center lines or center marks for our fillets or our arcs. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this a little bit closer and kind of come up with a game plan, I guess, and a plan of attack. Okay, so right here we have that these fillets are R9, so radius of 9 in 5 different places. So we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places, and then we have R20 in 2 places right here. This is 1 and 2, and R12. So all we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to put in we're going to put in some circles with those radiuses. Okay, so R12 is 24 in diameter. R9 is 18. This one here is 18. This one here is also 18. 18 and 18. Okay, so having those center marks first kind of helps us out a lot. It locks things into place. Okay, it keeps things right in the proper location, so that way when we start drawing our lines, things don't move with it. Okay, one thing that we also need to put in right here is we see that we have an R53. This is signifying that there is an arc right here. So let's go ahead and put that in. We're going to put in a circle that has a radius of 53, which means that the diameter would be 106. Okay, and then let's go ahead and put in these R20s. So R20 goes right here, so that's 40 and 40. Okay, so here's where we need to start kind of trimming things and making things tangent. So I'm going to click on tangent, and I'm going to click here, and that circle moves there. I'm going to click here and here, that circle moves there, and then here, and then that kind of figures itself out. So I'm going to go ahead and trim, and I'm just going to get rid of that edge of the circle, and then I'm going to trim this as well. Okay, so I want to get rid of pretty much everything except this side of this circle that I made. So I'm just going to click there and hit delete, and that makes that circle go away. So now we can go ahead and start drawing in our straight lines. So I'm just going to kind of over exaggerate where these lines should go. So something like that, something like this, and something like this, and also something like this. Okay, so I have all of these different lines, and now I'm just going to make them tangent with these different arcs, or these different circles. So tangent, tangent. Okay, tangent with that arc, tangent with this circle, tangent with this circle, this one here, and I'm just kind of moving my way around the entire part. Okay, here and here, and then finally this one and this one, and this and this, and it should move everything around. So now we're going to go ahead and click on trim and get rid of, oops, I think I missed a spot. Here and here. Okay, no, that's there. Extend, so I'm going to hold down my shift key here and extend it. Okay, and now I can trim. So now I'm going to trim all of this excess, these different lines that extend past our circles, our arcs, and just kind of get rid of the different lines that I don't need. Okay, I know that this isn't the way that a lot of you would have done it, but again, this is the way that I would do it because it's just the easiest way to do things. Okay, for whatever reason that's not coming out proper. Okay, so now we can go ahead and start trimming all of this other stuff away. Okay, since all of these are properly located, nothing should change when I delete all of that. Okay, that's basically it. So let's go ahead and extrude. So let's finish our sketch, and we're going to go ahead and click on extrude, and that's our basic shape. Let's look over here. Okay, so remember how I said that circle was just for reference at 95? Okay, it's 95 right here, that's for reference, and that's this little part that sticks out. So this extrusion that we are making is 33.4. So let's go ahead and put in that dimension for the depth of it, 33.4, and hit OK. Oops, for whatever reason, it didn't select these inner parts. So I just need to go back and click on those. And there we go. So we have this general shape. Okay, let's go ahead and put a sketch on this front face here, and we're going to put back in that circle. So this is going to be 95. Okay, and we're going to extrude this by our overall depth is 38.1, but remember that we extruded this 33.4, so we're going to type it in 38.1 minus 33.4. Okay, and it gives us that little cutout. Okay, and just say okay. And if we look here, it has a chamfer of 1 at 45 degrees. So all I'm going to do is go to chamfer, change this to 1. Chamfers are automatically set at 45 degrees. Click there and say OK. And there we go. So this, I know that the front view over here was a little difficult or a little kind of confusing because you don't know what that the other diameter is going to be, but this is what you see. Okay, that's the chamfer line and that's the actual diameter. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put in some holes. Okay, so we have these 6 different holes. Okay, they all have similar diameters except for one. Okay, so we have this one right here, this M8. Okay, so section AA, where would we find that information for section AA, which is this one? Oop, that's not even the right one that I'm looking for. Oh, it's this top one, 922. That one. So this hole that goes here is 9, and then all of these other holes have a counter bore, or I'm sorry, a counter bore. Okay, it's really weirdly written counter bore, but all of this information is what we need. So let's go ahead and put in this information. Okay, so let's go to hole, and we're going to place a hole here with this. Let's turn it so we're looking at the side with that as our circular reference or concentric reference. Okay, and this is going to have a diameter of 9, and it is going to be cutting all the way through, so we're just going to click it and say through all and say okay. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put in the counter bores. Okay, all of these holes are the same. It should be the same. Just make sure that we're looking at it. And here's the information for the counter bore. So let's turn it around because everything happens on the back side. If we look at the back view over here, you see all of the counter bores. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in the information. So let's go to hole, and the information, we're going to change this over to a counter bore. Okay, the larger diameter of this is going to be 14. Oops, let's select all 14. The depth of it, I'm just going to pick the different numbers, 1225, and then the overall diameter of the bottom is 9. Okay, so we're just going to click on these different locations. I'm just going to click, didn't choose the right. There we go. And then this one here and there. So we have all of these holes located. So if we look at the back view of this part, we have all of those holes properly located. Okay, and just say done. Okay, there we have our counter bores. We have this one hole here that we need to put in, and then this larger hole here. Okay, so let's make a new sketch so that way we can properly locate this. We're going to just draw a circle here, and this is our horizontal location is 2258. Our vertical location is 4814. That's really low. I think I'm going to have to recheck everything, make sure that we put things in the right locations. Okay. And I'm just going to say finish sketch. So that way I can go back and make sure that everything is properly dimensioned. 4814, 4915. Sorry. Unless, no, that's right. Okay, for whatever reason, I have no idea why that's coming out incorrect. That's the incorrect location for that hole. Okay, so let's just change this dimensions right here to something that would work better, like 4014. Okay, that probably does work better. And let's put a hole here. And this has a different hole note than what we have seen previously. Okay, well, it's right here. M8-125. This means that it's a metric hole, so it's just going to be a standard hole. And it is going to be, it doesn't have a seat, so it's going to be 8, and we're going to type in MM. Okay, so that way it's in the right location, and its depth is not going to be through all. The depth is going to be 20 millimeters. We just want to type that in so that way Inventor knows that we are working in the metric system. Sorry. Okay. Let's go ahead and put in, we're almost done. We have one more hole to put in and then we are done with this part. So I'm just going to click on a new sketch on this back face, and all I'm going to do is make a circle and then put our vertical and horizontal locations. So this one is 14. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, I'll go back and change it. Okay. So here's what I did, or what was incorrect. I measured 2258 from center, but if we look here, it's 2258 from the center of this hole. So we just need to subtract 2258 or 1424 from 2258, and we would get the proper location for this one hole right there. Okay, so I'll fix that after I put this hole in. 1424, and its vertical location is 466. Okay, so that is the proper location. And here you see it again, where it's measuring from the center of this hole rather than the center of the overall part. That's where we messed up. So, or that's where I messed up. So before I move on to give the diameter of this, I have to find it. So here's where I kind of dislike how this is dimensioned. It gives us 3 different dimensions for the same hole. It tells us 57 up here, a tolerance of 57, and then 55 down here. So I'm just going to go with 57, this top number, and then chamfer it. And that will give us the right thing. So this is going to be 57, or the diameter of this is going to be 57.195. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude this. And we're going to cut all, and let me turn it so we see what we're doing. And yep, and that's all we need. Okay, so let's go back and let's fix the locations of these holes. Okay, so here is where I messed up, the location. Okay, so we're going to type in 2258, which is from center, but 1424 to the left or to the right of center. So I'm just going to type in 2258 minus 1424. That gives us the proper location. And then the same thing over here. I'm going to change this location to 4814 minus 4.66. And that gives us the proper minus. Did I not put the minus? I put plus. Minus. And that gives us the proper location for where this should go. And there's exactly where it should be placed. Okay. We are almost done with this, but we need to go ahead and put a chamfer on this part. So we have a chamfer on this back edge and on the front edge. So here, oops, here and here. And that's that. I apologize for all this coughing. So let's go ahead and save this. This is going to be, what's the number of this? 2-7.1.5. And steering pump. And we're just going to type in steering pump. Okay, so that is that. If you guys have any questions so far, make sure that you ask me or ask each other. So that way you guys are helping or getting all of this taken care of. So let me zoom out so that way we can properly put all of these section views. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it on the sheet. So we're going to go right here to ENUS to find our metric title block that we created not too long ago. And I want to change this to a B-size sheet. The B-size sheet will work better, and we will be able to lay out all of these different dimensions properly. Okay, so I'm just going to grab our metric note and move it over so that way it's in the right location. Okay, so we're going to put a base, our front view. This is going to be over here, and we're going to put, now we're just going to say okay, and then we're going to put another view of the back out here. Okay, and say okay. Alright, so those two views are what we want. What I want you guys to do is I want to make sure that these are properly aligned. So I'm going to click on this one, click on up here on horizontal, and click on this one. So now, when I move them around, they are attached to each other. Okay, so they will not be able to move apart from each other. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in our different center marks. So go to annotate and click on our center marks, and I'm just going to zoom in and touch these larger, this one, here, 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 and here, and then our overall larger circle. Okay, and I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to do the same thing and do this, and then all of these holes out, or all of our different holes that we created. And I'm not entirely quite sure how to put that hole in there, but we'll figure it out. I think if I double click on this and then turn my my hidden lines on, I can then put in that center mark, and then I can double click and turn the center lines off, and the hidden lines off, and the center line will stay. Okay, cool. I figured it out. Okay, so I think this scale is a little bit too small, so I'm going to double click on it, and 1:1 will be too large, so let's type in 3/4. Okay, and same thing here, 3/4. Alright, so that's properly placed. Okay, let's move that up, and now I want to go ahead and do our section views. Okay, so first section is going to be coming through this circle here, and then to the middle, and then down through that that hole that we don't have lit up. Okay, so let's double click on this and turn on our hidden lines, and there's that hole that we want. So let me put a center line on it. Okay, place views, section view. We're going to section this view. I'm just going to come out here, go through there, and like so, continue, and we'll change this to there, okay, and say, I'm just going to click it right here, and that's where we want it to be. Okay, but it's not cutting through that hole properly, so let's see if we can adjust it. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, now let's do this other section view over here. Okay, section view, we're going to section this view here, and we're just going to come in. I'm going to click there. We're going to go to the center of this, the center of that, and then continue with the cutout here, and right click continue, and there is our cutout, and say okay. Okay, I don't like the way that it's placed, but we're going to go ahead and adjust that. We're going to right click on the different views, and we're going to click on rotate, and I'm going to say that I want an edge to be vertical, so I'm going to click on vertical, and then I'm going to click on this edge, and it straightens it out. I'm going to click on this edge, so I'll say okay. Do the same thing here, rotate, click on, so we want an edge to be horizontal, we want this line to be horizontal, nope, so there we go. So if it turned it the wrong way so it doesn't look like this, you can rotate it here and it will fix it. Okay, and there you go. And I want to go to horizontal, I want to connect all of these together, and then I'm just going to put this one down here, and that's where everything should be laid out. I don't know why section B was down over here when it should have been down below this guy, or this view out here. It is your responsibility now to go ahead and dimension everything. The only thing that you guys do not need to worry about are these finishing marks, okay, these lines, or these notes that say 3.2 and then it has like a check mark. All of those you can go ahead and ignore, but every other dimension on this sheet is your responsibility. You need to count, you need to make sure that you have it all there. When you are done, make sure that you save it and convert it into a PDF and then upload it into your OneDrive or into the classroom notebook. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.